Hey guys, this is, I'm going to say, my fourth video on movies, because I tend to talk about movies a lot. This video will be about how movies need to stop doing so much in the first movies. I am joined today by my brothers in arms. Say hello, boys.
Hello.
Goodbye.
My buddy Derek and my buddy Justin, they will join me today on talking about movies that need to stop doing so much. So let's start with Derek. Derek, how do you feel about movies that do too much in their first movies?
Honestly, if you're only trying to make one movie, I can see it. But if you're trying to expand, save some stuff instead of trying to make the second movie something special when there's no storyline to it.
I fully agree. Justin, what are your thoughts on it?
What's an example of a movie you think is doing too much?
So, coming up, there is a Superman movie, and they have a lot of other characters that are being thrown into the movies. So, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, a couple other characters. It's not
Hot
feeling like
girl.
a Superman movie, it's more or less adding characters to expand their universe. So think of it like
Oh
if
yeah,
Iron Man back in 2008 did it, where they added Captain America, or they talked about Thor. They kept throwing everything
Yeah,
about.
they're bringing the entire Justice League into Superman, and that'd be bringing the Avengers into Iron Man 1.
So what's your general thought on it? How do you feel about movies that add too much instead of just making a movie that's solely about itself?
I'm not sure. I don't really think of a movie that does too much.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. Most people really don't fully pay attention to that type of stuff, and that's okay. So my take on it is more or less. So I recently watched the Lilo and Stitch movie. That's on my channel. Yes, everyone agrees it is not the best. They could have done way better, which they should have. But in all reality, the movie did too much, and it showed too much that the first movie never did. The first movie wasn't even thinking about a sequel. It just made a movie, and it did well for what it did back in the day. It never needed to show, oh, Jumbo was working on other variants of Stitch. In this one, they're like, oh, here's a teaser that if this movie does good, we can expand on Stitch's family. I don't think that needed to happen because, again, the movie didn't even try to even be itself. It tried to do too much, and this is why it's failing. So, my full take on it is movies need to establish the first movies first. Let's say Spider-Man, a great example of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. They really weren't looking to make a second one. They were just making a movie. If it did well, then yes, they would have expanded on it in the sequel, which they did. And the second one was a great, fantastic movie. My problem is what Homecoming had a problem with is that it fully had Iron Man in it. A little bit too much of Iron Man, to where he relied on him too much. I think the thing that sucked about it was it just felt like it was an Iron Man Jr. movie. And they expelled away from it from the second one, but again, Peter misses him. The third one was just solely Spider-Man related, and that's why I think I like the third one a little bit more than the others. Derek, what's your take on a certain movie that you don't like a lot of? They add too much in it.
Right, I will say, right, this one might be slightly controversial to you, Ben,
Go ahead.
but I feel like Andrew Garfield's first movie
Mm-hmm.
for Spider-Man. Right, I feel like there was a little bit too much mashed in this middle of it. Not too much in the ends of it or anything, or the beginning or end of it. It was just the middle of it felt too mashed together.
And that's no. You're not wrong because the second movie actually did it. Actually, there's a great point. You brought up a great point for me right now. Andrew Garfield's second Spider-Man movie. They were trying to expand a universe and not create a second movie. So what they did was they were trying to say, hey, there's. I think it was like the end of the movie. Is you got the Vulture, Doctor Octopus. They were gonna tease Venom. They were ready to expand into a third movie when the second one wasn't even fully done yet. And that's where you're not wrong on that. Even his first movie, it felt too cluttered with stuff. But no, his second movie, now that you brought that up, thank you for bringing that up. His second movie, it just felt there's too much being involved when you haven't even finished the second movie. There were so many rewrites. There's too many subplots that didn't need to be there. You're setting up too many villains. And it's kind of like Toby's third movie, to where they were just adding so much to create a universe that it didn't need to be there. So no, I agree with you on all of that about Andrew's movies. Is that they were trying too much again to be like the originals, and that's probably why they failed. Any other movies that you could think of off the top of your head that you can go off on?
So, off the top of my head, let's see. Give me a minute to think. Give me a minute.
No, go ahead, Justin. Anything on your end that you could think of? I feel like a podcast actually. This episode, where this thing just feels like a podcast. I'm just asking you guys questions. Oh, for me, what was another movie that did too much recently? I hate to say it. I know a lot of DC fanboys will hate me for this. DC in general, before the James Gunn acquisition, they were trying too much to be like Marvel. Their first big movie that they were competing with Marvel on, Marvel already had established Civil War. This Marvel was already getting into the big threat of Tony and Cap were really gonna go butting heads against each other. And the first big movie that DC was producing at the time was Civil War, or their version of Civil War, Batman v Superman. But then you got too many different types of people saying, no, Batman, it wasn't Batman versus Superman, it was Batman and Superman. And it was like, no, they were establishing a Civil War-esque movie. The whole movie, Batman is telling Superman he's ready to fight him. He sees him as a threat. But the story just fell flat. I seen parts of it. Don't really care for what they were establishing because, again, Civil War already had, what was it, almost 8 years in the making of Iron Man and Cap going at it. They're two big heads that, of course, are going to go at it. But when it comes to Batman and Superman, it just felt rushed. Oh, Batman is now introduced into the DCU, and Batman's ready to take on Superman. It just didn't feel right to me, in my opinion. So that's a movie that was doing too much. And then you're trying to introduce the Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman. That just fell flat for me because you're trying to do too much to create a Justice League movie, but yet the only character that was well established in the DCU at the time was Superman.
I will say this one with the DC. I get they're trying to make those 4-hour movies, 3-4-hour movies that are going to draw your attention, and they need to be long, and they need plot, and the more characters they have, the more plot they can add. But if they calm down just a little bit on, oh, we need to stuff all this in here so we can have a story, and just make a great story for what you need in that thing. Iron Man and shit is great, because guess what? There's multiple movies. They took the time to tell a story in one and move on to the next.
And that's the thing about storytelling is I've been thinking about making my own movie, and I've always wanted to make a movie. I'm a big movie head. And the one thing I will always go back on is thinking I need to establish, I always have 3 characters in mind. And those 3 characters are the main focal point of the movie. Later on, if the movie ever did good, establish backstories, dramas that they had. Not all in one movie. Just establish, hey, this is what they are in this movie. Establish their personalities, make them each different. Because the sad thing about movies nowadays, too, is that they're making too many people either the main character, the jokester, or they're just trying to do too much in one movie for one character. Why did Avengers do well back in the day? Well, Tony Stark was the smartass. He didn't care what anyone said. He was just there to be the jokester of the group. And you had Cap, the very serious guy, just going to tell you what he wants done, and he wants this done the right way. Thor, the god of thunder, and that will take on anybody. He doesn't care who it is. Hulk, Cap, Iron Man. Hell, I'm pretty sure if he wanted to take on Black Widow, he would have taken on Black Widow. But you had 3 different personality traits, and that's why they established the big 3 as different. They were never the same. Marvel's kind of fallen off on that a little bit, and I will always say Marvel needs to do better now. I follow a lot of the stuff that they're doing, and I don't like most of the stuff they're doing, but I'm not Marvel. I'm not a head executive, but it is what it is. I hate to do this, Justin. You have anything on this? Because I feel like you're a guy that kind of just watches movies for what they are, and you enjoy what you get sometimes.
I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't been listening this entire time.
That's perfectly fine. I just want to make sure so people don't just assume, oh, he was just in the video for what? Just to be there? Justin is our guy that just chills with us, and he hears what I say about movies, and he's just like, yeah, sure, whatever floats the boat on anything. But me and Derek are the ones that are pretty much will keep track of most of this stuff. But I think the only thing that sucks about movies nowadays, again, is that they're gonna do too much because everyone wants to be the MCU. But the sad truth is, the MCU built their movies solo for movies. It really wasn't, hey, Iron Man's here in the universe, but you gotta worry about Cap, and we need to establish these side characters. No. And I don't wish for a downfall on a movie, but Superman, I feel, will not be that good with its side characters because you're introducing a Green Lantern that not too many people know about. It's not the original Hal Jordan. It's not even John Stewart. Yes, I know my DC characters because, again, I've played some of the games. I know some of the comic books. You're introducing a guy who's an a-hole with being a Green Lantern. He's not really the...
Which one are they introducing?
It's that one that has the weird bowl cut. The one, he's more of the smart-ass one. They're introducing Hawkgirl, which Hawkgirl kind of needs to be in a movie. She's been teased in so many of their DC projects. I think it's about time she gets introduced. But again, it's not the Justice League. It's the Justice Society that you're introducing. The thing about James Gunn is he's going to introduce wacky, goofy characters that haven't been introduced or been loved in comics. Look at Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1, 2, and 3. And their introduction into the Avengers movies, they were elite characters. How many people knew Star-Lord before Guardians of the Galaxy? Not too many people. So him introducing the Guardians of the Galaxy, making Groot the most lovable tree ever, Rocket Raccoon the most goofiest and lovable character, and is now the leader of the Guardians. You make animals lovable. But the thing about Superman is, I think people want to see a Superman movie. I don't think people want to go and see a Green Lantern be an a-hole when Green Lantern is Hal Jordan or John Stewart. Those are the only two I know that are fully good to be on the big screen. And the last time we saw Hal Jordan Green Lantern, we all know how that went. Ryan Reynolds makes fun of that extensively. I don't know. I just feel movies... I think that's why the John Wick movies are doing very well. The first John Wick was elite. We never thought there'd be a sequel to it. I'm pretty sure people would have questioned what if he got his car back, but it wasn't teased at the end. Oh, he's hunting down people to find his car. Shit, the first, I think it was like the first 5 seconds of the movie, we hear gunfire and he's hunting down the uncle of the guy who stole his car. So literally, it jumps to action right away. It wasn't teased at the first movie. Hey, he found a tip. He found this. No, the second movie just goes and says, hey, he heard a tip from somebody and he was able to find out where his car was. I think that's the thing about movies nowadays is
they go kill everybody because they killed his dog, though, didn't they? It's not the who originated it.
Well, the first movie was him going after the son, and, well, he went after the father for protecting him. But it was because of his dog in the first one. The second one was he was trying to find his car, and then he gets dragged back into doing a bunch of other stuff. So I think that's the thing about the John Wick movies is it goes from one thing to another. It's not, oh, here's this. Here's him trying to hunt down someone, his dog, and there's a bunch of side quests about other characters that make no sense. Or we're going to add in all these characters.
I will say this about John. I have absolutely no problem with
the movies or anything they do with them. The only issue that I have, and it's something minor and it's honestly pretty stupid because it's done in a lot of shows and movies, but having the one person in the world that's so badass, can't be touched, nothing will ever happen to them. It's just like, yo, what's going on here? The guy can't be that.
Oh, crazy. So what you're saying is that you feel like he's too invincible in some of the stuff he does.
Yes.
I got that in the fourth movie, is that some of the shit he was getting away with, I was like, seems a little far-fetched that he could do this as a man in his late 50s. I get that too, and I think I'll get into another video about that, about describing how some characters feel a little bit too invincible in their movies. See that with John Wick, because, again, most assassins should not be that invincible. I can see why they made him that way, and I hope Ballerina kind of doesn't do that for her to where she's, oh, I'm untouchable, I'm on this and that.
I fell.
I did too. I did the same thing. It's Ana de Armas. She is a very beautiful woman.
I love Ana de Armas too.
Yes. She is the main character of this one. From what I've seen from the trailers, it's her hunting down people that killed her father. So again, it's a well-established story of you killed something of mine, so I'm gonna take your life. I love this about the John Wick series.
Same storyline of every movie ever that has somebody killing somebody else.
Makes sense. It fits.
Oh, you're an assassin? Let me go and kill something you love.
I don't know
Oh,
you're an assassin.
Hunting me? Oh no, I'm so terrified. Why are you hunting me?
It's the thing of, oh, I'm gonna just be a straight up asshole to you because you're nothing to me because I'm untouchable, but yet the minute they get touched, they're like, why would you do this? It's like, you started it. It's pretty much you chose to do this. I'm just returning a favor. No, again, it's just movies nowadays just add way too much, and even for like, in the MCU, what was it? Captain America. We watched Captain America: Brave New World. You use a character that has been established in the MCU, but you're doing too much with side characters. Why do we need to see Everett Ross have this problem with his daughter? Why didn't you ever establish this through Hulk movies, or you establish it through the MCU instead of focusing on characters that don't need to be focused on? Again, you're throwing too much in a Captain America movie. I didn't even feel like I was even watching a Captain America movie half the time. And that's sad. I should feel like I'm watching a movie about the character I go to see. If they made a movie about Star Wars and they said, oh, it's a Luke Skywalker movie, and yet I'm getting a side character about Jar Jar Binks being the main character the whole time. Why do I care? I came to see Luke Skywalker. I think that's people's problem with most movies nowadays is they're not getting what they're paid for. And I understand because, again, to go to a regular movie for me and my girlfriend, it would be $20, $20 to $25. But if we were to go see it in bigger screens, seats that move, it's close to like $40 to $50. So when we spend that kind of money, we want our money's worth when going to see it. Thunderbolts recently just came out. Very well good. It's a good movie for what it was for Marvel. They established that they are a good team together when they want to work together. They're going to be dickheads to each other because they are anti-heroes or villains of other heroes that we've seen in the MCU. But we didn't need to establish that they were just point A to point B. They had to fight Sentry at the end because, again, Sentry is a good type of villain in the comics, so they had to figure out how to defeat him. But it wasn't, they didn't just talk about Captain America or Iron Man. They said this is their movie. And I felt it that way about it being a Thunderbolt type movie. But that's a problem with Captain America. You guys watched it with me. Did it feel like a Captain America-esque type movie? That's the problem is when you're wanting to watch a movie, and even if you didn't pay for it or somebody got it for you, you want to feel like you're watching that movie that you paid for or got. It's not something that is just the title of it and the game we're playing right now, Star Wars Battlefront. You want it to be a Star Wars Battlefront game. Would it be wrong if it was just a Rey Skywalker game to where we just played as Rey the whole time? No. You paid for Star Wars Battlefront, the game. Not just a Rey, oh god, Darth Maul. Just a solo game. If you wanted that, cool. You can ask the devs or ask EA to make a game like that, but what you want is what you paid for. And I think a lot of these companies need to sit down and realize adding way too much into a movie or changing something for your own personal beliefs is something that's going to kill your movies because that's something you don't want to see. And I feel a lot of movies will suffer that consequence pretty bad. Any final resolution on anything else for you guys? You think you guys want to say about movies that you don't like seeing in general?
Please stop making movies.
Please, and in the most sincerest way possible. And stop remaking live action. You keep fucking shit up. Stop. I'm sorry, but that is enough. Snow White looks like Lord Farquaad.
I got into that in my last video. I can bring it back. Let's talk about that then. We're at a 20-minute mark. We can go for a little bit longer. I don't mind. Let's talk about it. What's your guys' take on live action?
I mean, you want to make a cartoon movie into a live action, you just need to follow what the movie already is. That's what people are wanting or expecting when you go to see it.
It has potential to be good. You can make great live action. Lilo and Stitch had potential. We have the CGI. We have the technology.
See, I'm not the only one, guys. I am not the only one on this. Like I said in my review, the blueprint is there. You just need to take the same aspects. You don't need to change anything. from what the movie was, you can create the same story. Like I said, they can't say that they can't bring animation to life. I hate to say it, anime kind of fell into that too with, let's talk about this one, Dragon Ball Z, the live action movie that did nothing. I fell into that thing. We want to see Goku and Vegeta fight on the big screen in live action. We want to see Kamehamehas. We want to see all this fun stuff being thrown into the mix of being good in live action. But when you take away to give Goku to go to high school, what does that do? That does nothing. I don't want to see Goku go to high school. I want to see Goku fucking taking on Vegeta or taking on Broly. I want to see him fight. I don't want to see him do math quizzes. I'm not there for that. I'm there to see Dragon Ball Z.
So I will say this: the live action Dragon Ball, it's just Dragon Ball. There's no Z on it, by the way. It's the Dragon Ball movie. It was a massive letdown. I'm not too concerned with the fact that we didn't get to see the backstory. We didn't get to see anything with Master. There wasn't even an actual Orochi going on. And I get trying to be politically correct and not make everything rated R because Roshi's kind of a pervert. But
no,
just make an accurate movie, man. You don't change the story. Don't sit here and act like, oh, well, if we write it this way, it's going to be more relatable for people. Well, nobody cares about the movie then, because you just changed the entire aspect of why we watch anime in the first place.
Yes, and I hate to say it, look at Halo. The games were elite. Still could be elite for what it is. You make a TV show, cool. We would have loved the TV show. But when you take off the helmet in the first episode, what does that do for people? When we were growing up, we always loved seeing Master Chief with his helmet on because we always imagined ourselves as Master Chief. Same thing that Stan Lee said about Spider-Man. He gave Spider-Man a mask to say anybody could wear the mask. He made people feel like, hey, I feel like I could be Spider-Man, or I feel like I could do whatever as Spider-Man. And that's the thing, is when you change something out of random, it just doesn't fit the character. You make Master Chief take his mask off for what? To show that he's human? We already know that his name is John. So why do we need to see his face? I don't need to see his face. Did you guys need to see his face in the show?
No.
Exactly. It's just something that made us feel like, hey, I could be Master Chief if I really wanted to. I don't need to know if he's white, black, Asian, Mexican. I just know that I love Master Chief for what he is. Master Chief. He's a badass. It's just when you're bringing so much into live action, it's going to fall apart because you're changing so much that doesn't need to be changed. And I hate to say it, a lot of movies are going to fail. And right now, like I said before, the only Disney project that's coming out live action is Moana, but it doesn't need to be because Moana recently just had a sequel come out in animation. So I don't really feel like there needs to be, but I'm not Disney. They need to make their money, even though they can make billions of dollars just by breathing on anybody. So your guys' take on live action is a no. You guys all heard my review on Lilo and Stitch. Snow White was a bomb because, again, they changed it for no reason. To fit agendas, I'd say, mostly, but now look at it. Losing billions. It literally stopped the live action Tangled in production. It stopped, I think, a Hercules live action being made. So, but
live action would be fine if they just follow what was already successful.
And you're not wrong. Again,
Stop changing characters and taking characters out.
From what I've said about comic book movies to be changed, you're trying to make it seem realistic in the real world. So, like Spider-Man. This is why I think Spider-Man works so well being in live action and animation and anything, is because what Stan Lee did for that character was, oh, I made a superhero have real world problems as a teenage boy. He can't keep a job. He's having problems being a hero. It suits for what it was, for what it did. And for them to change it is what is going to kill it at the box office. People feel Spider-Man's pain when it comes to him losing a job or him losing his girlfriend because he can't keep it because he's trying to be a hero. It's that responsibility aspect that he can't, that changes it. but when you're trying to bring live action for Lilo and Stitch, you change so much for nothing in general.
Potential was there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, it was. I hate to say it was there, but again, I'm not Disney. I am not the executives. I'm not the director. Again, movies are just doing too much for their first movies, and this is why they're failing. Lilo and Stitch is trying to set up a franchise for what? For something that's mediocre, that didn't follow the story.
To lose money that you don't have in the first place, right?
For what I've heard recently about a lot of movie companies is that they're just trying to keep the rights for their movies, which is why, again, Sony. Here we go with this one. You guys are going to love my rant about Sony right now. Sony made a bunch of movies like Venom, Morbius, Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web to keep the rights for Spider-Man. And that's why they didn't care what was being made about them. They didn't care about the quality of them. They just made the movies for what they were. And you see it.
They didn't turn out terrible, though.
The Venom movies didn't do too bad. The third one kind of didn't do it for me because, again, I didn't really care after that point. But Madam Web was a AI slop. I didn't even have to watch it to understand that. Even when my sister is saying it, it's pretty bad. And my sister's not really a big judgmental person on movies, but when she goes and says the villain himself sounds like AI, that is a problem. Kraven the Hunter apparently wasn't even doing what he was supposed to be doing in the movie. I don't care. I didn't really watch it. Morbius, I saw that in theaters. I regret watching that one in theaters. They were trying to set up, and then the end credit scenes, they're trying to set up a universe. So at the end of Morbius Goes on the Run, and apparently the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming gets dragged into that universe somehow. Because again, around the time Spider-Man No Way Home is when the multiverse was happening. But I think Sony didn't understand what the hell they were doing with the multiverse. And they just started throwing characters wherever the hell they felt like it. But I guess the Vulture got stuck in the Sonyverse of their Marvel universe or whatever. And I guess was trying to get Morbius on his side to hunt down Spider-Man or something. And it's like, what were you guys trying to do? You're not even establishing a universe. And then the thing I hear for, what was it? Madam Web. Apparently that movie was supposed to have Tom Holland's Spider-Man as a baby, and they were supposed to save him, but then that fell through. And apparently that movie was supposed to be set in the Marvel Universe, and it just fell through. So what are you guys actively trying to do with these movies? Obviously nothing, because again, like we've said, they're trying to do too much instead of establish just a plain movie. You add in Madam Web, you have 3 separate Spider-Women for what? For the main villain to hunt down, when in all reality the movie's supposed to be about Madam Web's origin. It just didn't sit right with me about the movie. It's just like, what the hell were you guys actively trying to do with that movie? And I just said, I think it's mostly these companies are trying to make franchises out of something that won't become anything because they think the internet will take good to it. They think they see memes on the movie. They're like, oh, they're laughing with our movie. No, we are actively making fun of your movie for being garbage. And that's not the press you want. You want your movie to do good and make good memes out of it by being good instead of being bad. So I think a lot of movies have just failed at that dramatically. I feel right now that a lot of movies just need to, or a lot of movie companies just need to sit back and realize you have the money to make good movies. You're just wasting it by keeping your rights because you're scared to lose them to a competitor that could make it better. And I think that's the thing for gaming too. If Star Wars went to a different production company than EA, I think EA would probably be sad if, I'm not going to try to make one sound better than the other, but like if Activision did it and they made a better Star Wars game, how mad do you think EA would be that they lost the rights to Star Wars and Activision is now making it better? I just think that's my take on a lot of movies nowadays, is that they're scared that they're going to go to different movies or movie companies or whatever, and that's when they'll start losing the money again. But if you guys have anything else, go ahead and say something. I don't mean to take up the whole mic.
I said my piece.
Justin, any final thoughts?
Stop changing movies that are already made.
I agree with him on that.
Make new movies.
Make original good movies. Sinners is a good example. Sinners is a original piece that Michael B. Jordan. Well, Michael B. Jordan's in it, but Ryan Coogler made and is now the #1 movie at the box office this year. So I agree with my friend Justin. Make better movies, I'd say, and make original ideas. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being in the recording. It's cool that my buddies want to be in recordings like this. If you want to follow my buddy Derek on YouTube, Derek, go ahead and say your YouTube channel.
YouTube is Glitchgar.
Don't have anything.
Justin doesn't have a YouTube, but he's welcome to be in any videos he wants to be, commentary or TikTok. But go give my buddy Derek a follow on his YouTube channel. Show him some love and support on there. He's a well-known gamer and a very well talker on his end. Thank you guys for listening, and catch you guys in my review for Ballerina this week. That will be up either Sunday or Monday of next week. But I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.